Alrighty, we'll go ahead and get started here today. I'm Carlie from ERP Connect. As I said, we're going to be going over history and statistics and the sales document search today. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So on the agenda today, we're going to be going over the gaps that this history and statistics extension are kind of solving inside of Business Central. Okay, so the out-of-box gaps that history and statistics are meeting here. We're going to jump right into a live demo of the solution. So again, that'll be history and statistics, which also includes the sales document search. We'll be going over next steps if you're wanting to get this inside your environment, play around with it, get it installed. And then also resources like our setup guides, user guides to do so. And then we'll end here with a Q&A with any questions you have. Okay, going. So the gaps, no out-of-box dashboards available in Business Central. So, right, this is a big one. Really, anytime you're wanting to get these dashboards and KPIs inside of Business Central, typically you're looking for a solution that exists outside of Business Central, which can be a hassle. So our solution embeds dashboards directly inside of the system. Today we're going to be looking at customer dashboards, item dashboards, vendor dashboards, and a lot of good stuff there. Okay. And then kind of just pinging off of that, you must build everything from scratch for any sort of visualization, which takes time and money. So as soon as you install history and statistics inside of your Business Central environment, you instantly have all of these dashboards and KPIs at your fingertips. There's really no setup for the dashboard part. We're going to be going through a little bit of a setup. History and statistics is very brief in terms of setup, but that's really just related to the changelog feature. The dashboards, as soon as you install, you're pretty much ready to go. Okay, so it's a lot of time saved there. And then lastly, no easy way to globally search your BC database across all sales record types. Okay, so this is an additional feature we have in this extension where you're able to search all sales documents, including unposted and posted all at once. So for example, if you want to look up, all history and current outstanding documents for a certain customer, in really a click of a button, you now have all open transactions and historical transactions for this customer at your fingertips. Okay. So with that, we are going to be getting right into the demo here. I'm going to share my other screen here of Business Central, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. If we have any questions as I'm going through this, please put those into the chat. And Matt from ERP Connect is on with us as well, and he's going to be monitoring the chat with any questions. Okay, so feel free to pop those into the chat as I'm going through these. Okay. Alrighty, so starting on our setup page here, again, like I mentioned before, this is a very brief setup that we have with history and statistics. So as you can see here, I have setup related to changelog. And so what our changelog feature does with this tool is it takes the out-of-box changelog entries setup table, and we're placing that directly on these tables. Okay, and so here, what I'm doing is I'm saying, yes, I want to enable the item changelog, the customer changelog, vendor changelog, etc. Okay, and again, these are going to be looking at the out-of-box changelog entries setup. Okay, so we'll use customers as an example. Okay, so I have show changelog turned on. I would then go to my changelog setup, okay, and look at my tables. And this is out-of-box Business Central changelog again. Give that a second to load here, and I'm going to go to my customer table. Okay, and so right here I have tracked some fields. So that means that I picked, some fields that I want to track on the customer card. So you would still set up your changelog as normal, and you would do this for really any of these that you would like to track. So I would do it for items, customers, vendors. We have the vendor bank account as well, which is a big one. That's a gap in Business Central, not really being able to see that vendor bank account changelog and also locking it down there. We have sales transactions and purchase transactions that we can track changes for as well. So sales quote, sales order, sales return order, etc. Okay. Here we have the purchase side as well. So purchase quote, purchase order, jobs, and bank accounts as well. Okay, and so once you essentially the setup is really just enabling which ones you want to show. You then go to your out of box changelog like I showed and set up those fields. And then what our tool does is it is going to place the changelog directly on these tables to make it much more visible than the out of box changelog entries table. So if I go to a customer now and I scroll down, you now have a section for this customer for their changelog. Okay, so instead of having to go to that changelog entries table, kind of chug through that list to try to find what you're looking for in the change, you see it directly on the page itself. And then the same functionality exists for a vendor item, vendor bank account, bank accounts, jobs, sales, and purchase documents. Okay, so a lot of good functionality here. So for example, I think I have customer name tracked as a change. So if I were to change this to Hess demo, I'll put here at the end here. If I come down here, once that locks in, okay, I didn't even have to, go out of the page and come back. It logged that change for me here. And again, it logged this change because I have on my changelog setup table, I have flags that I want to track any changes made to the name. Okay. So there's the changelog functionality, a part of this tool. The other part of the tool and what we were mentioning before is all of the dashboards, right? And so we'll stay here on a customer card and you'll see this history and statistics button here. You can also access this from the customer list itself, which is nice. So you don't have to actually open up the customer. You can click whatever customer you're looking at and say history and statistics here. Okay, so I'll go into this customer and open up their history and statistics. And again, I didn't have to do any setup on my setup page for the dashboard, really. The only setup piece you can do is creating a Google Map API key, which we have instructions to do on our setup guide, to put a graph here to show where the customer is located. Okay, and so that's on the setup page. You just generate an API key and plug that in, and then you can see the customer's map, okay, or address on a map. So again, I access this page through the customer card or the customer list, and now I have all these KPIs again at really just a click of a button. So a lot of good stuff here, right? Sales past 12 months, balance, average pay days, so how long the customer is taking to pay, average fulfillment days, on-time delivery for shipments, sales by item category, monthly sales across here based on fiscal year, whatever's set up there. Average paydays history, customer AR aging, customer AR balance history, top item sales over here. Again, this customer map here is if you want to see the customer's address on a map, you just set that up on the setup page here. So I don't have my API key set up. Okay. I have customer items the last 12 months here. So this is a cool feature. You can see what we're selling to the customer, the amount here, quantity versus amount as well. Okay, and then open documents here. If we are using jobs in Business Central and we are creating jobs for this customer, we can see job planning lines and posted invoices as well. And then we also added the changelog that we previously went over and saw on the customer card itself. That will be here at the bottom as well. So again, the great thing about this is you install it and it's really all ready to go for you. There's no major setup or really any setup at all. And the other thing to know is any of these kind of statistics that look like a line view, right? Kind of like an Excel sheet, you can always open in Excel and send these to Excel, which is nice. Okay, so I can open that up, downloads directly to Excel for me as well. Okay. So the great thing about this too is that I can access this page through a sales order, sales invoice as well. So if I'm creating a sales order for a customer and I want to look at, what are the last customers or the last items we sold and the price, the last sales price we sold it to them at, I can actually access this through the sales order itself. Okay, so on a sales order, we just have the same button here, the history and statistics, and I can show that here in a second. that you would access through that page itself. And then the same thing exists on the vendor side. We have a vendor history and statistics, and you can also access that through a purchase order as well. Okay. So there's the customer history and statistics. We also have the same history and statistics with, of course, different history and statistics for items and vendors. So if I jump to an item here, we'll see that this is the item history. I got to this page again by going to an item card. You can also access through an item list and selecting history and statistics right here. Okay, so I'm going to select that again. And give this a second to load here. And again, a lot of statistics related to this item. So quantity on hand, quantity available, here, sales and purchases, inventory levels, purchase prices and sales price trends, any orders or documents that we have on the sales and purchase side that we have this item on. Okay, so sales documents here, any open documents, and then purchase documents here. Okay, production orders, okay, any open production orders or lines that we have this item associated with, as well as inventory statistics down here. Okay, and then as you can see, I also have the changelog set up for my item. So again, we added that down here, and then you can also see that at the bottom of your item card, you can see the ERC changelog fast tab as well right here. Okay. And then lastly, we have this same idea on our vendors. So if I jump to my vendors here, and I select home, history and statistics, you can also access this again through your vendor card by selecting history and statistics here. I will open that up. Okay. And again, it's kind of looking and feeling the same way as the other two statistics pages, the customer and the item, and now we're on the vendor, and we have a lot of good KPIs here as well. Okay. So vendor purchases by item category, vendor aging, top item purchases for the vendor. Okay, any open orders, quotes for this vendor, and then again, the changelog here on the bottom. And then we also have this changelog on the bottom of the vendor card as well. Okay, so far we've gone through the setup page, which is really just enabling those changelogs, right? And then again, on your own, you would go and set up the changelog entries table, which is the out-of-box table to track, any tables and fields that you want to track, customers, vendors, items, bank accounts, jobs, all that stuff. Okay, then we have the history and statistics dashboards that you can access through the customer, vendor, and item, as well as sales and purchase documents as well. You can access the history and statistics page through the document itself. The last feature we have to go over is the sales document search. Okay, so I'm going to search just sales doc search here. And it's this right here. It's under the report section. Okay, and let's go through this. So again, the idea here is so you're able to create your filters, which you'll see down here, header filters and line filters. So this is saying like the header of the sales document and then the line of the sales document. Okay, so create your filters, or you don't have to do any filter at all if you just want to do a huge search of all, documents in the system, sales documents. But I created a filter for a customer here, and then as well as a date filter. Okay, so I create my filters and then I can select which documents I want to include. So first I'm saying, yes, I want to include sales documents. And then here I'm selecting which sales documents I want to include. Okay, so I want to include, these are open documents. And then here are my posted documents. Okay, so blanket orders, sales quotes, sales orders, sales invoices, sales return orders, sales credit memos. So I'm saying, yep, show me everything essentially, and then also show me all posted documents as well, including archives we have available as well. So I'll leave everything selected here. And I have, again, this filter for this customer and then a date filter down here. I then can select load records. Okay, and then what we'll see is it loaded this page down here. To make this page bigger, we added an option to say hide show filters. So it just kind of makes this a little easier to look at here. Okay, and then just select that again if you want to show the filters. Okay, so I'm going to select hide show filters. We have two options in terms of how you want this report to look. So right now I'm in the tree view, right? So it shows the header and then the line beneath it, and I can kind of collapse and expand. So that's my tree view. If you want it to be more sorting friendly, you can select this button again, and now I'm in the sort view, okay? And I hit load records again. See, now it's not in that hierarchy anymore of collapsing and expanding, and I can more easily kind of sort and do that way, okay? If I would like to just see headers only or lines only, we have that option too. So if I select headers only, it's only going to show me the header line of all the sales documents. If I select lines only, it's only going to show me the lines of all those sales documents. And then again, I can select header lines to get that back. Okay. I can open up the documents from this page as well. So if I select a line and I select view document, it's going to jump me to that sales invoice and open that up directly from this screen. Okay. And then lastly, I can save views. So just like the out-of-box filtering and saving views, we have that functionality here as well. Okay. So if I'm going to show my filters again. If this is a view that I often look at, maybe, I'm the salesperson for this customer and I want to always see what's outstanding, what's, historically we have for this customer, I can save this as a view. So I can select save view, and I can have multiple views and make one my default, and you'll see that this is by user. Okay, so if I create a view and save it as my default, it would be, and Matt creates his own view, it would be two separate. Okay, so I could name this as Carlie 2.0. Okay, and hit OK. Didn't select it as my default. Okay, I then can select get view, and we'll see all of my views here. One is the default as well, okay? And so default meaning that when you open this up, it'll default to that view for you, okay? And again, this is by user. So this is a really great tool. Again, a lot of different scenarios we could do here. I can remove my header filters altogether. So if I remove these and select load records, it's essentially going to load all open sales documents and posted documents inside of this system. Okay, so this would be one huge list now with everything. So again, if I click hide show filters, now we see a big list of really everything in the system in terms of sales. Again, I can change it from tree view to sort view as well to make that easier. Okay. So there's the sales document search again. This is a huge tool inside of the system that we can have access to in terms of reporting for salespeople. If we are looking for billing information from a customer to see what's outstanding, this would be a great place as well. Okay. Alrighty, well, that concludes the demo portion. I'm going to jump back over to the presentation and we'll finish that out. So let me kind of reshare here. Okay, so in terms of next steps, you can go ahead and download a 30-day free trial, okay? And so you can go to Extension Marketplace inside of Business Central directly and download a free trial that is good for 30 days and play around with it, okay? We have information in our user and setup guides on how to generate that demo key to use for that 30-day free trial, and then to reach out if you would like to move forward with the purchase of it as well. Okay, you can watch our activation video as well. And then again, like I mentioned, you can click the generate demo button once you've downloaded it and installed it inside of Business Central to get started. Okay. In terms of resources and getting started, so we have a product page, which is listed over here on our website as well, that lists all of the extensions that we offer. So this is one of many that we do offer. And then you can see over here a snippet of that, and it gives you a really good kind of summary of each of these. Okay, so you can see financial dashboard, advanced CRM, etc. over here with the summary of kind of what we're achieving with those extensions. We also have a YouTube channel that is a great resource for video walkthroughs of all of our extensions. We put our Toolbox Tuesdays that you're all a part of right now on YouTube. And so a great place to reference to kind of get a demo itself in a video version. Okay, and then again, a product guide that gives a fit gap analysis of here's out of box Business Central, here's our extension and kind of what we're solving there and filling a gap with, and then as well as configuration and training time that is associated with each of our extensions. Okay. All right, so that concludes. If anyone has any questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. I don't see any yet, but we'll wait here just a couple more minutes and see if anyone has any questions. But other than that, thank you everyone for joining today's Toolbox Tuesday.